Jake here for Extreme Terrain, and in this video we're taking a look at the Racechip GTS performance chip with smartphone app control, fitting 2022 and newer Toyota Tundras, excluding the hybrid models. The Racechip GTS makes tuning your Tundra pretty darned easy. It features a simple installation and a dedicated smartphone app to control it, so you have all the settings right at your fingertips in a user-friendly interface. This little module helps you dial up your Tundra's power and makes the most of that new turbocharged power plant. Before we get into the details of the module itself, let's talk about dyno numbers. Now, we strapped our 23 Tundra SR5 you see behind me to the dyno just to see what it would lay down. Now, this is again the standard twin turbo model, not the hybrid, because this doesn't work on hybrids. And our truck also runs 93 octane fuel, and we've performed all of our runs in sport mode in 5th gear. Now, 5th is not the ideal 1-to-1 ratio, I know, but we chose this one because it was as close to that ideal as we could get while still getting a clean run up to redline without running into our dyno's speed limiter. Now, in stock form, our truck laid down 317 horsepower at 5,000 RPM and 348 pound-feet of torque at 4,200 RPM. After installing the Racechip GTS and putting it in race mode, we saw some pretty tangible results. 360 horsepower at 5,200 RPM and 372 pound-feet of torque at 2,600 RPM. That gives us peak gains of 43 horsepower and 24 pound-feet of torque, which is pretty impressive standalone for a plug-and-play module. But curve gains were also impressive. If you take a look at the chart we've got here, we saw a pretty big jump in horsepower and torque just after the engine crested 2,000 RPM, with the biggest differences showing up just past the 2,500 RPM mark, where we saw as much as 53 horsepower and 110 pound-feet of torque over stock. This basically shows us that the Racechip helped turn up the boost down low, which is great for power and drivability. We did see gains all the way through the rev range as well, though the difference was less stark at higher revs, but it was again a difference over stock. Again, pretty darn good for a plug-and-play module. Now, that said, it's pretty clear that the Racechip GTS performance chip is designed to pick up the last little bit of slack that engineers might have left in your truck. Now, Toyota typically tunes their vehicles pretty conservatively for the sake of longevity and reliability, but this handy little device is going to help you get the wick turned up on your Tundra. A turbocharged engine like the new V6 is becoming the standard in the class, and having turbo slapped on the smaller displacement engine is a great way to make power while maintaining some fuel efficiency, and these respond really well to additional boost, fuel, etc. Now, Racechip has built in a few select modes that you can choose from at just a tap of the screen, and you can further fine-tune the way your truck behaves in regards to its power, but also its response. Now, by selecting one of the preset modes, Eco, Sport, or Race, this can also alter your throttle pedal sensitivity, allowing it to function a bit more aggressively or less so depending on your time and conditions. And this is all controlled through the Racechip Plus app on your phone. Just download it, connect it to the module in the truck via Bluetooth, and you're set to go. So you don't have to do any extraneous wiring or anything like that. So not only is it a neat party trick for your passengers, but it makes it so you don't even have to worry so much about learning it. The app is very simple, and you also won't have to worry about an unsightly controller or anything clogging up your dashboard. Construction isn't easy to discuss when it comes to something like this, especially when it's got an app to control it, but it is worth noting here that the module itself comes pre-wired and ready to go. This is the harness that you get, and everything uses factory-style connectors, so all you really have to do is plug this in. Again, all the connections are done for you, everything is nicely labeled, so just plug it in and you're done. But we'll talk more about installation in a moment. First though, let's talk about the price. Coming in at about $600, it's not exactly inexpensive, but as we've proven from our dyno test, it can make a difference, and it does offer you quite a bit of adjustability, which is not something that all tuner modules do. Now, this is one of the first to market on these trucks, so if you want to get more power without having to risk it with a custom tune, this is going to cost you less and get you results that you're after without having to go as far. Installation is going to get a 1 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and it should take you about 30 minutes to get it all hooked up and working properly. Again, this is a pretty simple job to do, and it's definitely something you can accomplish at home, even with just a small amount of time. Now again, this is going to plug in basically to your boost pressure sensor at the front of the engine and your manifold absolute pressure sensor at the back of the engine. Now, we'll show you when we get over to the truck. That one's a little bit harder to get to, but it is still accessible. This will also allow you to return the truck to stock too. You've got a block off plug right here that'll just basically plug right on in and easily return the truck to stock without having to unplug the entire thing. That said though, let's hop on over to the truck. We'll show you the install process and walk you through the features on the app as well. All right, everyone, now it is time to install the RaceChip GTS module on our 2023 Tundra here. So you're gonna wanna make sure that you've got the module itself and our little octopus worth of wires, because these are the things we're gonna have to do first. Before we get started though, it is worth noting, you wanna make sure the truck is in sleep mode. So with all the doors shut, even with the hood open, you can lock the truck, walk away, leave it for like 10 or 15 minutes. Now you can, just to be extra sure that nothing has power, disconnect the negative terminal on the battery, which we are gonna do as well. Again, just to doubly be sure. Now this is gonna install in two places under the engine bay. The first is our boost sensor right here at the front by the intercooler. The other one is the MAP sensor, or manifold absolute pressure sensor, which is basically directly behind that at the back of the engine. Now that one is tucked under the firewall a little bit, so it's gonna be a little bit more difficult to see. We'll get in there as best we can, but otherwise this is gonna pretty much just plug and play. Then we'll get into the app and run through some of the features for you. So with that, let's get started. All right, so again, just to be safe here, we are gonna disconnect the negative terminal on our battery. So I'm gonna take my 10mm right here on my ratchet, break this guy loose, and we should be able to just wiggle this right off. All right, and then we'll set that aside. And then we can hop on over to the other side of the engine, because we're gonna have better access to the sensors we need to plug into. So we'll hop over there next. All right, now we are on the other side of the hood. The next thing we're gonna have to do is remove our engine cover. So this one is very easy. Just grab it at the front here. It'll pop right out, and then you can slide it off the clips in the back, and we'll set that aside. Now we've got access to all of this under here. The two sensors we're going for, one is right here. This is the boost pressure sensor. And then in the back here, underneath where my hand is the MAP sensor. So we're gonna start with this one first, just because it's easier to access. So we'll grab this and we can just press the tab here and then pull it back and leave it unplugged. Then we'll grab our harness. Now on this harness, you're gonna notice that they are labeled A and B. These are only gonna plug in one way, but it is important to make sure you get the right one in the right spot. So A is gonna go to the front here. So if you notice, this connector that we just took off looks a heck of a lot like this one. So this side is gonna plug into the sensor itself, just like that until it clips. And then the other side is gonna plug in just like that until it clips. And we'll set that aside. And then we can move to the back. I'm gonna maneuver myself so I have a little bit better access, and so hopefully you guys can see this one a little bit easier, because again, it is way back here. You can reach it, it's just gonna be hard for us to show you on the camera. Now I popped myself over to the other side of the engine bay just because I have slightly better access on this side to the MAP sensor. So we're going, again, way back here. You'll see there's a bunch of covered wires back here. This one in particular is the one we're interested in. I know it's a little bit hard to see. It is coated in gray. Now there's gonna be a clip on the back here, so you're just gonna press it down, pull it straight back, and reveal our connector. And if you notice, just like before, these guys look awfully similar. So what we're gonna do first is take this end, plug it in just like that. Now this is the orientation from which we took the other one off. So just like before, we're gonna take this side of the connector, and we're gonna feed that back in here. You're probably gonna have to do a little bit of this by feel. Again, so the locking tab should be up, and then you're just gonna press that in and click it onto the MAP sensor until it locks. And with that, this part of the installation is done. So we're gonna go hop over to the other side. We're gonna route these wires, plug in the module, and then we'll fire up the app and see what this thing can do. All right, now that we've got all of our connections secure, we're just gonna kind of route our wires around. Now I'm not gonna permanently mount this because we're setting our truck back to stock, and really it's dealer's choice. You can set this wherever you like. Now in the kit, you do get a bunch of clips like this that will insert into the back of the actual module itself. They just clip in like that, and then you can feed a zip tie through and secure this down somewhere. And then you can press that tab and pull these out without having to cut the zip ties every time. Now again, we're not permanently installing ours, so we're just gonna leave it kind of right here. Now the next thing we're gonna wanna do too is make sure that all of these wires are out of the way. They're not in front of any moving parts. nothing is under a place where it's going to be under stress and we're not pulling on any of them. So I routed that back one down around here with this other set of wiring harnesses, and then this one is just going to come right over the intake tube, right over to here. Now our big connector here is pretty simple. This purple tab, you just pull it out and you can pull this guy out. Now this is our return to stock module. So if you want to return the truck to stock without completely unplugging everything, you can just unclip this, put this right back in, and clip it in. And the truck will run exactly as it did from the factory. Nothing will change. But we don't want stock right now. So we're gonna take that out. We're gonna take our big race chip module, set that in, and that just clips in like this. Now, when you do go to register this using the app, you are gonna need the serial number, which you can scan right here. And the key for the Bluetooth code is right on here as well. So we're gonna plug that in for right now. We'll go reconnect our battery, fire up the app, and we'll get this one set up. Now we're gonna reconnect the negative terminal on our battery. Get that on there nice and tight. We'll just tighten it up with our 10mm ratchet. Once you've got that nice and snug, we're gonna go ahead and throw our engine cover back on, and then we'll fire up the app. All right, now we're gonna put our engine cover back on. This is just the reverse of the uninstall. There's 2 slots back here that are gonna correspond to these guys right here on the top of the intercooler, and then 2 little nubs right here, which are gonna correspond to these. So we'll slide this back over here. Once you make sure that you've got that in, should just be able to give it a nice little tap, and it's nice and secure. Now we can fire up the app and get this thing tuned. All right, now before we get this thing fired up, we're gonna go ahead and set up the Race Chip Plus app. So you're gonna wanna download that. It does come with instructions. There's a QR code. You can just download it right there, or you can search it in the app or Google Play Store. So I'm gonna go ahead and start that up. And it's gonna prompt you with a couple of things. Yes, you do want it to use Bluetooth. That is how this connects, so we have to hit OK there. And if you want to scan this to get the serial number in, now you can enter it manually, but if you want to scan it, you want to hit OK on access to the camera as well. Now, as you can see, if you want to hit don't allow there, you can enter the serial number manually down there. So we'll hit OK, and that's going to bring up our camera. We'll flip this guy over. I'm trying to line that up as best as possible. There we have our serial number. So we'll double check it, make sure it looks right, which it does. So we'll hit next. Now this is telling us we got to get this ready for installation. Now we have a printed set of instructions with us. You can have them already. We've got ours already installed, obviously, so we're just going to hit next on this. And this is going to want us to make sure that this is connected. So we're going to plug the module back in, just like we did before. We'll go ahead and cut the ignition on, and then we will set up the connection. So I'm going to go do that now, then we'll jump right back here. So now we've gone ahead and turned the power onto the truck. So the ignition is in the run position, but the engine is not started, so we've got full accessory power. Now, as you can see, the screen on the Race Chip GTS is powered up. We went ahead and put our truck's ignition into the run mode. The engine is not started, but we've got full accessory power. You can see a couple of things here. The state of tune, or the tune stage, is already displayed on here. It defaults to 5, and we've got the Bluetooth indicator up as well. That's important because, again, this is how we're going to connect it to the app. So we're going to set this down, grab our phone again, and we're going to hit connect. So this has already registered our Bluetooth pin. I did write ours down so we had it just in case, but it is the last 6 digits of the serial number as well. We'll give this a moment to connect itself. Now this is just uploading and connecting to our Race Chip module. And once that is done, we'll be able to make some changes and see what kind of power this truck makes. All right, and here we are. So now we're in the main menu. All right, and we can see we've got 3 main choices here. We've got Race, Sport, and Eco. So if you hit any of these on here, you'll actually notice underneath on the module, it changes. So right now we're in Eco, that's 1. If we hit Race, that jumps up to 5. Sport is 3. So we'll set that aside because we're going to be tuning things from here. So we're going to leave our truck in race mode. And we've got a couple of things we can do. You can fine tune this, so if you want to set it to level 4, go down a little bit and set the levels on this. You've also got a warm-up timer. If you want to set that up, you can. And you can read some information on this as well. So that warm-up timer is pretty cool because that will actually delay the tuning being applied. So it'll let the engine warm up like it's supposed to from the factory, and then things will kick in once you've got enough temperature in it. So you can set that, again, time-wise. So we'll go back to the main menu here. Down here we have the power module. We can turn that right on or off. As you can see, that's now turned off. And it says tuning deactivated. So that, again, puts the truck completely back to the stock configuration. So you can do that from the app, or if you want to have that completely disabled, you can just unplug the module from under the hood. So we're gonna turn that back on, because again, we wanna be able to play around with this. And up here in the left, you've got some other things that you can touch through too. So driving modes is our main menu here. You've got a car profile, so you can set this up if you want. You can just add your different vehicle. It'll give you your serial number, and you can remove that as well if you want, or if you've got another race chip in another vehicle, you can do that here as well. And you've got support if you need any help, and some other settings. This will just, again, you can allow automatic updates, you can clear things out. If you want to do light or dark mode, whatever floats your boat. And we'll go back to driving mode, so that is basically it. Now again, you can also toggle these modes on the GTS module itself underneath of the hood if you want. So we can set our phone aside for a second. You press that to activate it. You see, we can use this here. And as we cycle down through, you'll see that the screen on the phone changes accordingly. So 1 has eco mode, 2 is in the middle, 3 is sport, 4 is again between sport and race, and then 5 is full race mode. That's gonna wrap it up here for our review, install, and dyno test of the RaceChip GTS Performance Chip with smartphone app control fitting 2022 and newer Toyota Tundras, excluding the hybrid models. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, for all things Tundra, be sure to keep it right here at extremeterrain.com.